going to talk about on this joint is building through adversity. Now, a lot of people, they typically, don't understand the process of building through adversity because some people, are just, or in this position, we're definitely just handed things. And it's not a bad thing and it's not a good thing either because sometimes you don't get a chance to experience certain things. But like I said, it's not a bad thing because, at least you get the opportunity to be where you want to be. You feel what I'm saying? Um, the thing about it is when you are building through adversity, you know, a lot of times you're building through struggle. You're building through, pain, and you're building through, you know, sometimes a lapse in mental health. So, the question we're really going to be asking ourselves tonight is, what do you do when life doesn't pause? Because life be lifing. But does your dreams pause too? And that's what something, you got to think about, especially when you're going through these types of emotions as well. Because sometimes people are just not mentally tough and mentally, arranged for going through things and, multitasking, chasing their dreams and goals. And it's okay because sometimes it's just better to save up what you can in order to make shit happen. And, you know, every designer faces obstacles. It's just, they face them in different ways. And the difference is how they respond. Feel what I'm saying? Every creative journey includes setbacks. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, I've had multiple setbacks in my life. Started out, before I was even 18. Like, my dad had us, homeless when I was pretty much middle of 10th grade going into 11th. Then on top of that, moved us to Atlanta to live with a lady that, I barely even knew. I only seen her a couple of times before he actually, decided to get married with her. So it was just, a weird situation. But as I got older, and even within the situation, because of what I understood, I could tell that he was just trying to finesse the situation. You feel me? So I could never even take it seriously. But it put us in a bind, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't affect, my ability to find my purpose within that. Because, like I told y'all last night on the stream, that's when I started to take my designs to school. That's when I actually, started to figure out who I was as, not only a person, but a creative as well, too. And, you know, challenges redefine your perspective, strengthens your work, and, especially for me, as I kept going along, even, through times of homelessness, through times of addiction, through times of, uh, not having the means to an end, I've been able to actually still create great things and, build a brand where, it has meaning. Don't wait for the perfect conditions to create, because even within the process, the dreams is not going to be perfect because you're going to encounter different personalities, people, you know, um, mistakes, mishaps. It's just a matter of, like I said before, how you respond. Creativity is, all about discipline and not just a feeling. You know, the key thing is that your circumstances don't determine, your consistency, your faith in your, your brand and your beliefs. And then on top of that, you're able to stay cool, calm, and collected throughout the whole process, whether it be through chaos or through calm situations. The main thing is turning obstacles into inspiration, you feel me? The experiences that test you often become your strongest, creative moments, material, and, often iconic pieces. Main thing is that while you're going through these moments, you want to keep a notebook. You want to keep, if you have a phone or audio, memo. or even use your notepad in that, in your iPhone or in your Android, and keep your notes of different designs, different experiences, different things that, will help you create your next piece. The things that I typically like to ask myself is, what is this experience teaching me? That's what I started to do when I first started to, go homeless or go through different, things. I always tried to analyze the situation before I actually started to push through it. That's what helped me, to understand how I could, express these things, same things later on in life with my designs. What story does this moment allow me to tell? How am I able to affect and impact others with this story? You feel me? Explain that authentic work often becomes, it comes from, the lived experiences, those, mistakes and lessons. And you got to keep it, fresh, you know what I'm saying? With your ideas, with your projects, with your products, and within the story that you're telling. Build while you're becoming. You don't need to have everything figured out all at once, especially before you start. You know what I'm saying? The main thing is, like I always say at the end of these streams and, at the end of my content, you do the research. When you do the research, it's like going in the gym when you're playing a sport. You're putting that practice time in. You're understanding the things that are necessary in order for you to succeed. Once you're able to do that, then you're able to put together a solid plan. Then you put together, the steps that it takes in order to get to the goals and dreams. Every sketch, every live stream, every podcast, every conversation is a part of your growth. Even the behind the scenes moments when you're at photo shoots, when creating these different products, when you're with the seamstress, when you're with, the manufacturer, when, you're just doing it print on demand, you feel me? However you are, creating, it's just about taking the time and enjoying and embracing the process of the journey. Focus on progress instead of perfection. Consistency builds confidence because you prove to yourself that you can keep going, you feel me? Confidence equals wisdom. Wisdom equals action and applied knowledge. The designer's responsibility is, you can encourage people who are facing their own challenges, you feel me? And a lot of times, the stuff that you're going through is similar to somebody else's story. You feel me? They may not be going through a harder hardship than you, and the fact that you were able to make it through something similar to them is just enough for them to make it through too. Designing isn't only about making products, it's about communicating ideas and values. Think about, the legacy you're building through your creativity. You feel me? Everything should be with a purpose, with intent. You know what I'm saying? Just like how we talked about luxury as a mindset last night, everything should have a purpose to it. You should be having a direct direction on how you are moving. You should understand everywhere you're going to go, even with the small steps, even through the mistakes. You feel what I'm saying? Even when, shit hits you, you should be able to sit back for a second, reanalyze, and move forward. What do you want people to feel when they experience your work? That's the main question, you feel me? If you don't understand what you want people to experience with your work, then how are you ever going to make it, through life, through, your career? How are you even going to make it through the next project? The things I want you to, actually analyze, before, you go to bed at night, or, when you wake up in the morning. What's one challenge that's made you stronger? How do you stay creative during your difficult seasons? Life be lifing, so you always got to stay ready. What are you building today that your future self will thank you for later? Just remember, man, Adversity hits all of us. It doesn't stop the creative process, though. It shapes it. It makes you better. It makes the art better. And it makes the story more authentic, real, and relatable to your customer and audience. Some of the most meaningful work comes from choosing to keep creating when it would be easier to quit. There's multiple times where I wanted to quit this brand. There's multiple times where I wanted to quit life. You know what I'm saying? Just because there was so much that I had to do as a man in order to make it to another level. But at the same time, once I made it to that level, I felt so much more grateful. And that's what those hardships actually do for you. Once you're able to make it to another level, you're actually able to appreciate not only the process, but the progress. You feel me? Every step forward, no matter how small, becomes a part of your story you're building. So like I always say, and like I just said in this stream, keep visualizing. Put a solid plan together. Do the research. And once you do the research and you put that plan together, execute that motherfucker to make your dreams and goals come to fruition. If you really want to be a ruler, that's all it really takes. Keep visualizing. Start living like royalty. Make sure that you like and subscribe all of our channels. Make sure you check out the From the Mud collection, which is available on our website. Make sure you check out the poetry album, which is on all streaming platforms. And make sure you check out that poetry ebook or print book available on all platforms. We also have, the From the Mud short film series available for those that are not able to tap in with the clothes and other products. But it's available on YouTube right now on our channel at dreams_of_rulers. So make sure you tap in, and I'll catch you on the next stream. Keep visualizing. I'm out.